Hi, everybody, and welcome to Room 9. My name is Miss Brewer, and I am a third grade teacher at Gordon Bush Elementary School in the East St. Louis School District. And welcome to Room 213. Boys and girls, I have a question for you. What am I here to teach you? I am here to teach you a third grade math lesson. So hopefully I got some third graders that are ready to work on, what have we been talking about? Multiplication. It is so exciting to be working on multiplication. So first off, boys and girls, I just want to do a quick check-in and see how you are feeling. How are we feeling out there? Are we feeling great? Are we feeling kind of so-so, or we having a bad day? Those of you with your thumbs up, I am so happy you are having a great day. I'm having a great day. I'm here with you, and we are rocking this Thursday, working on our multiplication. For those of you with your thumbs in the middle, I'm hoping that once we get going on our lesson, you will be able to rock it out with the rest of us, and you will be doing fantastic as well. And those of you that had your thumb down, I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and I want you to find the fluffiest thing in the room with you. I don't care if it's your cat Fluffy, if it's your dog Fluffy, or if it's your grown-up that's in the room with you, or a nice pillow or a stuffed animal. I'm going to count from 5 to 1. When I get to 1, I want you to have that fluffy, soft thing with you. Ready? Go grab it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, I want you to take the fluffiest object you could find, and I want you to give it the biggest hug you can. Give it a big hug, boys and girls. Just hug it tight. You'd be surprised the power of a hug. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, and you know I've had some bad days, right? We all have, we're human. So some things that really help me is just sometimes hugging one of my kids, or hugging my dog, or going to my mom's house and hugging my mom. Sometimes things like that, boys and girls, the hug helps so much. So hopefully if you're having a bad day, boys and girls, you are able to hug someone or something soft and fluffy just to make you feel better. So hopefully we can turn that thumb down into a thumb up. And ready for some multiplication, all right? So to start out today, boys and girls, I got thinking, we counted by 5s, 2s, we've already done 1s, right? We counted by 3s, I believe some 4s, but I don't think we've done the 8s yet, have we? So even if we have, guess what? We're gonna go back and count by 8s again, because the 8s sometimes can help us with skip counting, and it's one of our strategies, as you know, for multiplication. So the 8s sometimes get a little bit tricky, at least for me, they do. So going over this again, boys and girls, will help me, and hopefully it'll help you as well, okay? We ready to count? And don't worry, I wrote them on the board for us, boys and girls, so that way, in case you don't know how to count by 8, hopefully by the time we are finished here, you're going to be able to be a 8 rock star. Ready? Repeat. We'll just listen first and then repeat after me. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Ready? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Join in now. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Now just you, boys and girls. Ready? All right. So now let's see if we can count all the way up to 80 by 8. You ready? I'm ready. I hope you're ready. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 63, 72, 80. Ready to go again? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 63, 72, 80. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 63, 72, 80. Now just you, boys and girls. Ready? Now all of us together again. Ready? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 63, 72, 80. Double high fives. We count it from 8 to 80. Skip counting by 8. Didn't it feel great? For those of you that came in late, I don't want you to think you can skate on by because we were counting by 8. And if you don't know how to count by 8, it's right here behind me on the board. All right, boys and girls. Now that our brains are a little warmed up, go ahead and give your brain a little stretch. A little this way, a little that way, a little forward, right? A little back. Are we ready to work now? Get your neck loosened up to get those brain muscles ready to think. I'm ready to think. You ready to think? Well, let's go ahead and think. So today we're going to start out with one of our word problems like we've been doing. And I feel some of us have really become some word problem wizards. So let's see what we can do. And we're just going to review real quick, boys and girls, what we've been working on here. Okay? So I'm going to erase our 8. Bye, 8. We'll have another date soon. Get it? Get it? 8 date, right? Right? Okay. You guys are probably just like my kids too. You know, hey, Mrs. Brewer, we get it, right? Okay, so let's look here. When we talk about multiplication, I want you boys and girls, when we start reading through word problems, like we said the other day, we need to start picking up equal groups right away. Seeing if they're talking about groups. And if they are talking about groups, do we have the same amount in each group? And if so, then we can start writing our multiplication equation. And we wrote that as the number of groups times how many in each group. Number of groups of how many, okay? Groups of, remember every time we say of, we're going to put that multiplication symbol in there. Groups of how many, and it's going to equal our total, how many in all. So remember, the answer to a multiplication problem is called the product, okay? So anytime we want to know how many in all, our product is going to be our answer, okay? And that's going to tell us the total number will be what it equals. Okay, so you ready for our first math problem? I'm ready for our first math problem. Okay, so today's first math problem is actually kind of a true story. My teacher friend right next door, her name is Mrs. Blakely, and she loves math. I mean, loves math, like loves math, okay? Even more than I do, if you can believe that, okay? So here is our first problem of the day. You ready? Oh, look, it starts out with just what I told you, boys and girls. Mrs. Blakely loves math. She completed eight math worksheets for fun, just like us, right, boys and girls? When you're bored, don't you complete math worksheets? She solved 16 multiplication problems. How many problems were on each worksheet? Okay, boys and girls, this is our first problem of the day. So let me get to setting this up. So once again, I'm going to put the paper back here behind me so we know what we're working with. Okay, so you can see what we're working with, right? Okay, so hopefully you boys and girls were able to see this. Miss Blakely loves math. She completed 8 math problems for fun, just like us, right, boys and girls? If I can move a little bit closer to me. Okay, there we go. Now you can see it a lot easier, can't you, boys and girls? So We know Miss Blakely loves math. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about Miss Blakely loving math, just like us, okay? She completed 8 math worksheets, okay? What can we think about a worksheet? We can think about it as a what? Oh, we can think about that worksheet like a group, right? Okay, and we're gonna assume, and I know Miss Blakely, there's gonna be the same number of problems on each worksheet, okay? So if we can think of the worksheets as a group, and they're gonna have the same number, we can say that this is gonna be what? An equal group, right? So can I use multiplication to solve this? Absolutely, I can use multiplication to solve this, no problem whatsoever. Okay, so to set this up, how many groups did I have? Well, here it says that she completed 8 math worksheets. So we're gonna say we had 8 groups, right, of, let me keep reading. She solved 16 multiplication problems. How many problems were on each worksheet? Okay, did it tell me how many? We know we had our group, our worksheets of how many problems, right? Did it tell me how many problems were on each? Oh, it didn't, did it? Okay, so I'm gonna put a little line right here. Okay, just because it's something, it's an unknown, right? I could even put a question mark right here because we don't know that yet, do we? Let me keep reading, see what we do know, okay? All right, she solved 16 multiplication problems. Well, we know 16 is how many she answered what? In all, okay? So we know it had to equal 16 was her total, right? That's our product for our problem here, right? How many in all or our total would be the product or the answer to my equation, okay? Let me go ahead and multiply this out. Can I multiply this out? Can I? 8 times question mark. What would that equal? Well, that would probably equal 8 question marks. Okay. So how could I go about solving? Well, I know multiplication facts, don't I? Okay. So I can think of my fact family. And what do we just count by too, boys and girls? We just counted by, oh, we just counted by 8, didn't we? Okay. So I can actually count by 8 to see how many 8s I count to equal what? 16. I can use skip counting, right? So if we think back, I know Mrs. Brewer said it was 8. What number comes next? You remember 8? That's 1 8. 8. Oh, 8, 16, or 8. If I skip count, I know I have to add another 8 here, right? So 8 plus 8 is 16. So 8, 16. Did I already get to 16? Oh, I did, didn't I? So 8, 16. How many 8s did I count, boys and girls? Well, we counted 2, right? So what number do you think would go in my blank space or question mark? 8 times what equals 16? Oh, I heard someone out there yell it. 8 times 2 equals 16. Okay. So how many problems were on each worksheet? 2. So Miss Blakely solved 8 worksheets of 2 problems, right? I don't know why she got through 8. There weren't very many, were they? They must have been word problems like this, boys and girls. Had to have been word problems, right? So 8 times 2 equals 16. Okay. So what we just solved, boys and girls, was a missing factor multiplication problem. We had a multiplication problem, but we were missing what? We were missing one of our factors, weren't we? So I had to think about, what do I know about multiplication? What do I know about the 8? 8 times what equals 16? Well, when I start counting by 8s, I realized I counted 2 8s and got to 16. Okay, let's try another one. Hopefully this one will be a little bit easier. Open. Put this one to the side. We'll go ahead and wipe our board off real quick, because our new problem probably isn't going to be using those same numbers, is it? Probably not, boys and girls. All right, so look what I found here. Oh, another word problem. Who is hungry? Oh, okay, well, John was hungry because John was busy scooping ice cream, okay? Now let's see if John scooped ice cream a certain way, shall we? Okay. Oh, this isn't John, this is about Carter. I'm sorry. Carter scooped 35 scoops of ice cream evenly. Okay, so even, I know it must be what? It must be equal groups, right? If we're going to be even, it would be equal groups. Okay. Carter scooped 35 scoops of ice cream evenly into 5 ice cream cones. How many scoops are on each cone? Okay, so as we did before, I'm going to put the problem behind us, and we're going to see if we can work this out. So I know we had ice cream cones. Each cone's going to have the same amount because it said evenly in this one, right? So that means I can use what to solve it? I can use multiplication here again, can't I? Okay, so let's see. Let's start setting up our problem, okay? Carter scooping ice cream, 35 scoops. So this is my problem right now. I know it's going to be even. Blank times blank is going to equal blank. I'm just setting the little boxes up so I can start filling in my numbers, okay? So Carter here scooped 35 scoops, okay? Is 35 my number of groups? Is 35 how many in each group? Or is 35 how many scoops he scooped in all? Well, it's not my number of groups, is it? No. Can't be how many scoops in each, is it? No. So 35 has to be the number of scoops that he scooped in all. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put my 35 here as my product. Okay? So let's figure out my number of groups. I'm going to keep reading my problem. Carter scooped 35 scoops of ice cream. That's my total in all, right? Evenly into 5 ice cream cones. So that 5, is 5 going to be my number of groups or how many in each group? 5 is going to be my number of groups. And then how many in each group, that is what? That is my question up here. How many scoops are in each cone? So I have my groups, but I don't know yet how many in each group. So what can I put here? Right, I can put a question mark here, right? Or I can just leave it blank, can't I? I can. So this is another one of those missing factor multiplication problems, right? Because I'm missing something, right? So what number am I missing here that would work with my multiplication problem? How could I solve this? Oh, I heard someone out there yell that I can skip count by 5. All right, let's try it. Can we skip count by 5 and get an answer that equals 35? Would 35 be a reasonable answer for multiplying by 5? Yes, if you remember the other week when we had our hundreds chart and we were coloring in all of the multiples of 5, we learned that the answers to all of our 5 multiplication problems are either going to have what in the ones place? They're either going to have a 5 or a 0. Do we have a 5 or a 0 in our ones place? Absolutely, we do. So this is a good possibility. So let's count by 5 and see how many 5s it's going to take to get to 35. You ready? Got those counting fingers ready? Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Why'd you tell me to stop? I heard someone out there yell, stop! Why am I stopping at 35? Oh, because that's all I need to go up to, right? It's 35. So how many 5s did I have to count to get to 35? 7. So 5 times what equals 35? 5 times 7. You are exactly right. 5 times 7. So this was just another one of these missing factor multiplication problems. This is why it's so important to learn our multiplication facts. The more you practice, the better you're going to do. Okay? So let's try one more. You think we're ready for one more? You guys have been rocking these so far. Those of you that have been participating with me and working, you must know your multiplication facts if these were easy for you. And you had to have probably practiced to get there. That's awesome. Now we're going to talk about John. Okay? Let's talk about John here. And let's see what John's doing. I have a feeling maybe John isn't as nice with Carter. Okay? Let's see what John did. I knew John was coming up. All right. So John, let me go ahead and erase this so we don't get our numbers mixed up. Okay? John was making snowballs to throw at his 4 sisters. Anybody else out here have 4 sisters? You like throwing snowballs at them? If he made 16 snowballs, how many does he have to throw at each sister? Okay. So if he is going to throw the same amount at each sister, okay, how many is he going to have to throw? Well, boys and girls, can I tell you a little bit of a secret? I've been using multiplication, but these haven't been multiplication problems. Did you know that? What we have been solving have been division problems. But what do we use to solve it? We've been using multiplication, right? And let me show you why these are division problems. Let's work with John here, okay? Did I trick you just a little today? Good if I did, okay? Because next week we're going to start working with division. So I know that John has how many snowballs? We know that he has 16 snowballs, right? And how many sisters does he have? Do you remember? You're right, he had 4. And what does John want to do with these snowballs? Besides throw them at his sister, he wants to divide them up evenly, right? To throw the same amount at each sister. Okay? So let's stick with using multiplication here. Those were my impressions of a snowball. Okay? Do I know how many groups in this problem? Well, my number of groups in this problem would be what? It would be his sisters, right? Okay, and how many sisters do we know John has? Right, he has 4. Okay, so this is my number of groups. Do we know how many in each group? How many he's going to throw at each sister? We don't, do we? That's what we're trying to solve for. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that question mark here. Did I need to put a question mark here? No, I could have just left a blank line. It's up to you. Just something to hold that place. So we remember there's got to be another number coming here. And then how many snowballs did he have in all? Right, he had 16. Okay, 16. I heard someone say 16. Thank you for that. So now what do I do to figure out how many is he going to throw at each sister? Right, we can count by 4s again, can't we? We can skip count by 4. So let's skip count by 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. How many snowballs do we have? You're right, he has 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. Okay. So boys and girls, when we're solving these, we can use our multiplication facts to help us with problems that really are division problems. So next week, we are going to kick off division week. And I didn't want anybody to be scared of division because sometimes my students get nervous about talking about division. They think it's hard. Well, it is if you don't know multiplication facts. But even if you don't, next week, boys and girls, we're going to talk about some strategies that you can use to help with division. We're going to break down division the same way we did multiplication. Okay? So next week, we're still, I don't want you to not think about multiplication, but we're going to start breaking down and what to do if we don't know how many groups or if we don't know how many in each group. But we'll know how many in all, just like we did today. Okay? We're not going to have a bunch of missing numbers here. It's not going to be a guessing game and put whatever you want in here. Okay? All right? Well, I hope you boys and girls have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday for Division Week. I'm so excited about that too. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.